Brittney Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark, and pretty obviously doing so.
And 2 minutes into the game, Brittney Griner has 2 of the worst, dumbest fouls I've ever seen in basketball.
Social media has already reached its verdict. Brittney Griner is guilty in the court of public opinion. A viral clip, a few words caught on camera, and just like that, headlines explode. The footage spread fast, and so did the outrage. But this isn't about what she said. It's about who she is, her past, her identity, and now her suspension. A tweet says she's been suspended. But of course, when it comes to Griner, things are never that simple. So was she really caught making a racial remark? Or is that just what they want everyone to believe? And if so, is that really why she's being suspended? The bench breakdown. Here's the scene. The Atlanta Dream just lost to the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark, the rookie messiah of women's basketball, is beaming after a fourth-quarter rally. And Brittney Griner? She's sitting on the bench, visibly seething, having just fouled out. Not against Clark, mind you, but against Natasha Howard. Cue the slow zoom in from the TV cameras. Griner mutters something, her lips moving just enough for the amateur detectives of the internet to strike gold. The speculation spreads faster than a Kardashian Photoshop fail. Did she just say white girl? No audio, no context, just a few words, or perhaps none at all. Lip readers on X splinter into camps. Team Whack Call versus Team White Girl. But nuance isn't outrage is. Conservative influencer Riley Gaines drops the match. Brittney Griner appeared to call Caitlin Clark trash and a white girl. Just a reminder, this is who we traded for the Russian merchant of death. Boom. Millions of views. The clip loops endlessly, feeding a culture war carnival. The more people watch it, the more certain they become about what they're not actually hearing. But there's a kicker here, and you won't believe it. But first, like this video if you think the refs are unfair to the Fever, comment if you disagree, and don't forget to subscribe. Even though the foul wasn't on Clark, and Griner never directly confronted her during the game, that doesn't matter in the court of public opinion. The bench moment, real or misread, was all the internet needed to go DEFCON 1. Because this wasn't just a foul. This was about who Griner is, what she represents, and who the audience wants her to be. From MVP to PR nightmare. It didn't take long for the suspension rumors to hit like a grenade lobbed into the WNBA's Twitter mentions. An anonymous X account, @ThrillaRilla369, because of course, posted that Griner had been secretly suspended for 2 games and fined $150,000. No source, no statement, just vibes. And yet, the claim racked up over 4 million views in less than 48 hours. Screenshots, TikTok breakdowns, pseudo-news aggregators throwing up red font headlines like it was 2007. But there was one problem. None of it was true. Not a single credible outlet. Not ESPN, not the WNBA, not even the Atlanta Dream, backed up the suspension story. And yet, silence only made the rumors grow louder. Why wasn't the league commenting? Why wasn't Griner denying it more forcefully? The vacuum was filled by political voices, culture war cheerleaders, and those who have waited years to call Griner the villain. Some even dragged her 2022 Russian imprisonment into the mix, as if hash oil and a penal colony somehow proved she must have called Clark a racial slur. Even Griner's actual response, "I really can't remember what I said honestly," did little to calm the storm. If anything, it poured jet fuel on it. Her defenders, like Jameli Hill, insisted the entire scandal was a racialized hit job, noting that Griner fouled out from a play that had nothing to do with Clark. But nuance isn't trending, and so the lip-reading incident spiraled, mutating from maybe she said something problematic into why hasn't she been banned from the league? Caitlin Clark. To truly understand why this clip blew up like it did, you have to look beyond the words, or lack thereof, and into the narrative being built around Caitlin Clark. She's not just a rookie, she's the rookie, a ratings machine, the new face of the WNBA. And in a league often sidelined by mainstream media, Clark's arrival is being treated like the second coming. That's a lot of pressure. and a lot of opportunity for anyone looking to exploit the optics. The Clark versus Griner dynamic was always going to combust. One is a white, fresh-faced Iowa superstar being positioned as the savior of women's basketball. The other, a black, queer veteran who spent nearly a year in a Russian prison and once refused to stand for the national anthem. The contrast is too cinematic for culture warriors to ignore. And so when Griner got caught on camera possibly saying something, it didn't matter what it actually was. What mattered was that it could be spun. Add Riley Gaines, Clay Travis, and the usual outrage machine into the mix, and you get a bonfire. Suddenly, it's not about basketball. It's about reverse racism, about who's allowed to be angry, about whether the league is protecting Griner and silencing critics. The footage is weaponized. Clark's name is dragged into it, even though she never responds. She doesn't need to. Her silence becomes saintly, a contrast to Griner's supposed rage. And just like that, the narrative is sealed. Griner's the villain and Clark's the victim, even if neither woman asked to be either. The suspension that wasn't. Let's be clear, there is no confirmed suspension, but in 2025, truth is optional and virality is king. The suspension rumor, a 2-game benching and a $150K fine, came from a single, anonymous post, no receipts, no official source. Yet the outrage machine treated it like gospel. Conservative media sites ran with it. Commenters flooded WNBA pages demanding justice or, hilariously, equal accountability. And the league? Radio silence. Not a denial, not a confirmation, just an eerie, strategic nothing. This nothingness became a breeding ground for conspiracy. Is this okay with you? That's some racist bullshit shit there. WNBA has become the most racist, anti-white entity on the planet. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Even Snopes, the digital debunker of our time, had to step in and rate the claim unproven. That didn't stop thousands of TikToks and armchair sports pundits from declaring with full chest that Griner had already served her secret punishment. And when no games were missed, oh, they postponed it. Of course they did. Meanwhile, Griner kept playing, kept dunking, kept fuming at refs. In a June 24th game, she screamed, "Be better" at officials on live TV. A meme was born, but so was a pattern. The narrative of a meltdown stuck, fed by every heated quote and every viral clip. Whether she deserved discipline didn't matter. People needed her to be punished because it wasn't about one game. It was about everything she symbolized: politics, race, gender, activism, and a league struggling to define its own identity in the chaos of 2025. Gender panic machine. And just when you thought the internet couldn't stoop lower, enter the gender discourse. Seemingly overnight, a parallel scandal detonated across the darker corners of X. Brittney Griner, some claimed, was never supposed to be in the WNBA because she wasn't even a woman. Posts alleging that Griner is a biological man began surfacing, using her deep voice, tall frame, and masculine features as proof. And the kicker? They claimed her 2022 Russian detention happened in a men's prison. Welcome to Conspiracy Clown Town.
Griner was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony, thrusting her into the international spotlight.
These claims, of course, are entirely false. Griner has lived publicly as a woman her entire life, competed as a female athlete from high school to Baylor to the WNBA, and is legally, socially, and biologically recognized as a woman. But that doesn't stop the trolls. They point to her size 17 shoes, her 6'9" frame, her arm span, her voice, the usual dog whistles repackaged for viral hate, the Russian jail story, which definitely placed her in a women's penal colony, got twisted into she was in a male facility because they knew.
Authorities say they found vape cartridges in her luggage containing an oil derived from cannabis, which is illegal in Russia.
It's transphobia by innuendo, weaponized for engagement. Even her marriage and child. Yes, she and wife Sherelle welcomed a son, Bash, in 2024. Get thrown into the conspiracy meat grinder. Suddenly, having a family isn't proof of stability. It's evidence of a cover-up. The same people who raged over Griner being traded for the merchant of death are now dissecting her body on social media like a public science experiment. All this while, the WNBA remains silent, perhaps hoping the storm passes, Or more cynically, letting the controversy drive engagement in a league that desperately needs eyeballs? Merchant of Death. Ah yes, the Merchant of Death line. Because no Griner scandal is complete without a rehash of the 2022 prisoner swap that sparked international headlines and internet memes.
A WNBA All-Star and two-time Olympic gold medalist.
Conservatives haven't let it go. Riley Gaines's viral post about the viral video wasn't just about Griner's alleged slur. It was a reminder, a not-so-subtle jab. This is who the U.S. gave up an international arms dealer for. As if the moment Griner fouled out, she also fouled America. It's a powerful narrative, and it keeps coming back like a bad sequel. Every time Griner loses her temper, or gets caught on camera swearing, or simply exists too loudly, the Merchant of Death discourse is wheeled back out like a prop in a one-woman morality play. Forget the context. Forget the geopolitical chessboard. The real story, according to the Outrage Factory, is that America chose Brittney Griner, black, queer, loud, flawed, over some abstract ideal of patriotism.